Getting ready for the voting thing, I suppose, different districts, or, no, we don't have that many districts. I don't know, counties?
Precincts.
It's like they got new bags.
The voting precincts at the bottom,
Oh, okay.
the bottom one.
Bob?
Yeah.
Could you come here? I have a question for you.
Sure, not that tired, Lou.
In the email I had sent you, and thank you for the reply, but I asked how many months were requested, and you had just sent me this.
Yeah, cause that's what it is, that's what they get. So that's.
So
that
they
was-
request 1 year?
No, they get, anybody that gets a permit, this is what they get.
Okay, this is what they get, but they talk about an extension of 90 days, and so we're not talking an extension, right? Since it's, you know,
No, that was, those were new permits, so those
Right.
were issued. Now,
Right.
if they run into a time and they need an extension, then they gotta apply for
okay, and so then
it. So that's why that code, that just explains it all, that's
it will
what it is.
expire within 90 days if this substantial beginning has not been made in the construction.
Right, and they can apply for an extension.
An extension at that time. So it is the 90 days if a substantial beginning has not been made.
Yeah, on
Okay,
on
that's,
that part.
yes, okay. Just wanted to make sure, cause it talked about, you know, you've only, and I was surprised that you only have 7 days to turn around.
Right, but that's within the 7 days. Now, sometimes there's more questions that you have to ask. And it doesn't get done in that 7 days, cause they don't get back to you, or they don't send a payment.
Okay,
So,
so that 7 days isn't.
you know,
that-
this one actually was 10 days, because I requested more information
Uh-huh.
to go over with
There's a full-time
attorneys and everything.
Gotcha.
So it was actually,
As a jack of
that
all
one was actually
trades,
10 days.
who will say,
And we thought it was gonna be more at first, cause, well, there's a lot
we
of
gotta do
paperwork.
this.
to go over.
Mhm, mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so that's.
believe that
Let's go
probably,
forward it to the paper.
what was mentioned one day was that was actually the longest that it's ever taken.
Say that again.
That was the longest it's ever taken, and it took 10 days,
Oh,
you know, cause, there was some comment about, well, those just got ran through, and it was like, oh, it took 10 days.
Uh-huh.
Just going through stuff and requested more information.
okay.
In there.
Talking with attorneys. and-
So do you have firm days that you work, or is it every week is different?
No, it's just, I come in all that I can, when I've got stuff going on, like,
Okay.
you know, they
But I
might call
mean,
and say,
you're
well,
only
there's,
like half-time, right?
well, it's supposed to be just part-time, 15 hours, but it's been averaging,
50.
it's been averaging
That's
over
less
20.
than that.
It's been averaging over 20 because of all
Okay,
this stuff.
I got you.
Okay, but it's a salary.
Thank you.
Right, yeah, it's a salary. All right, well, I
But
just
if it,
didn't know.
well,
if-
like Todd ran into where they had Walker and then they ended up, because of all the hours, they revisited that.
Oh,
I think, well, I mean, it should level out. I mean, I knew when we started that there'd be hours because you have to organize stuff and they never.
Sure.
So it was like, oh, it's been going down, like this month was less.
And then the
Then
other-
all of a sudden, all this stuff comes, so then they got more hours.
Yeah, and the other thing I had asked Mr. Leidinger, I did not realize that Todd stuff was the vice chair. I remember being at the meeting when, Mike was, like, you know,
Chairman.
Yeah, but I don't remember that there was a vote for vice chair. Would you be able to find those minutes?
Well, I think,
I mean, that's
I
prior
thought
to
that they
your
looked,
time.
I thought that, somebody else checked and said that, yeah, that was correct. Todd was vice, so.
Yeah.
They put out the memo, so they checked on it or what, so.
They,
I don't know who called who or what, between the attorneys and Tammy and
Oh.
everybody, I have no idea.
okay, and so could that.
Cause I got asked, I said, well, I believe Todd was the vice chair.
I've got it here in my approved previous minutes, and
Oh,
this
you do
was,
have- you
this
do have-
was, July
July the 2nd.
26th, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
But it has, why do I have Kurt first? And then Todd second, cause Mike is first.
Yeah, so, well, this was 23, yeah, that would have been, so that's when, the repower was voted in.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, Kurt first, yeah, it was, Mike,
Mike.
yeah, okay, all right. you're good to go.
Yeah, I didn't, I said, I believe that's how it is, and they could check, and evidently they checked or whatever.
Gotcha.
Who they called or what, I
Cause
couldn't
I
tell
just,
you.
I could not recall that.
I was working on other stuff, and I said, okay,
Yeah.
let's check it out.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
How you guys doing? Good.
Nice night, guys.
Yeah.
Make good time.
Yeah. Save on fuel. Put the sail up on top of my car and put the wind taking.
There was.
We're so bad that we need 2 cops now.
You recognize me.
4 miles to the other or something.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere. It was, the wind was behind me.
Yeah.
We used to have those.
His next meeting.
The ladies planning on being rowdy tonight for the
I
extra
guess,
deputies.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hard to maintain us, you know.
I was in the academy.
You just look like such troublemakers
I know.
with your notebooks, pens.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
If I don't have my paperwork, I'm lost.
Yeah.
It flew off between their
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave?
Hey.
How you doing? Good. This will be kicking your chair.
Was just wondering who.
Yeah.
How many pages are there for you to look at?
There's something about putting it in the,
One page
in
is
their,
perfect.
It's like a lot.
So it's
I
not.
don't know, 6?
Might model this.
We just stand still.
Yeah, just that part of it, because probably not tonight anyway.
One thing, that I had to look at.
As I know, the sheet of stuff I had is probably being prepped. Maybe what?
Did you know what
Wow.
Dan had?
Something like that. Body cam? Like I see new judge.
I did not know.
Mm-mm.
Association
New
notice
judge,
is a
you
new
will go
it's a form to do something as evidence without if it is so well known that no one could reasonably doubt or debate it. So that's what judicial notice is. So we could take judicial notice of matters which are common knowledge for the town. This guy's wood, grass is green.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy. You just there? In uniform? I was last one that we just went on for fantasy school. It was like the dream sport kind of. Wayne. Wayne, he said, we live in Cleveland? Oh. That's one that I know.
I still think that's kind of off, but, you know. What do I know?
What time is that? This morning, that's why I thought that was like, cause I was like, oh, maybe you're late, I was like, wait, you're late, I went off early this morning, I went like 2.
How's your honey collection going this year?
We've got it mostly all, at least stored in the larger containers.
I've heard some people say on wet years, that's not good for honey collection.
It's kind of wet and then dry, so it's a little of both, and it's like, I think we had like a medium size harvest. It wasn't bumper, but it
So.
wasn't as bad
last
as we
year
thought
when
it'd be.
Last year when it was so dry, was that a better harvest?
Maybe. Hard to say.
Yeah, that was one guy that was selling honey up in northeast Iowa, and he just said, farmers hate to hear it, but you get better
2 years ago we had a really good crop. This year I'd say it was probably medium. We got more than we thought we would.
Like
We're
how many
expecting it
pounds?
to 240-ish.
So you have like a centrifugal forcer, okay, to spin it out. Yep. What do you do with all the wax?
I don't know what he does with all the wax.
Curious, cause they used to sell like honeycomb that had the honey on, you know, with the wax.
I don't know what he did with it this year.
Your dad?
Yeah.
He takes care of it all.
Yep. He just has me as a salesperson. So. Bottle prices are getting ridiculous though, so we're trying to find different ways to bottle it.
Pricey, huh?
Yep. It's a little cheaper to do mason jars, so we'll just do regular glass mason jars than the actual like fancy hunting ones.
Do you have to seal them? I mean, does it have to be like vacuum sealed?
It's not like canned or anything. It's just, I mean, you keep it from drying out, keep it from leaking. Don't want honey all over.
I'm not sitting here because I'm gonna be next to the door.
You can sit up here next to me and have a straight shot for the big bear.
To dive over the top.
Have you been making all
So
the
they had to
board
pack up all
supervisors
this stuff
meetings?
for this meeting.
Those two cases have been packed. I think those are what the poll workers
Yeah.
take out. And those were on
The
that
machines are
table
put away
before.
because
Yeah, machines are put away.
they,
Yeah,
they've had, they're done with that, but they've got the paper still.
they're
going
gonna
in.
have to set out the booths again.
Yeah,
after
that's
this.
not hard.
Shouldn't be.
Who's not gonna be here tonight?
So where's the rest of the,
Oh.
I think that's all the bags that we.
no, the board, the board.
We still have 4 minutes.
No, they don't, that clock is
How slow is that?
They got 1 minute.
Then they better hurry the heck up.
Not surprising.
I mean, they don't even have the pills sign out, so nobody's trying to cover it all.
Well, I didn't know about this until last.
I didn't know about it till yesterday either. Luckily, I was free.
Tired.
I think I heard they posted it like last Wednesday or Thursday or something.
I didn't even, I've gotta start taking pictures of the board, cause I couldn't find it online.
Well, I wasn't at the meeting yesterday, so missed that.
And then you posted, what, 2 weeks beforehand? Maybe it's just been happening. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought they would send me a note that it was, already confirmed.
Yeah. I don't know, have you seen it in the paper though? About the November?
No, but, you know, I expected it out. Yeah, he had tonight's going out there,
Not even intentionally.
but not the intentional.
I was gonna look for this stuff to be online before, I mean, we've gotten all this, the same stuff we got now.
Which stuff did he online?
Well, like this,
Oh.
just send to us, you know. And we've got everything else we already have. Well, maybe you guys don't.
Yeah, I'm sure they know.
Probably not. They didn't pick up
Are they down there?
Work here.
I had asked him to print off kids. And
Did he?
he said you'd have them tonight, but.
Maybe they didn't get the message
It's
to
not
the
like
meeting.
this meeting tonight, that's, no,
I hope they got email.
For your 12th, that's a bit interesting.
Yeah, 6:01.
Let me see.
This isn't a quorum, so I don't know if we can do anything tonight. We need 3 to be quorum.
3, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have not
Yeah.
been in yet. We've had 2 meetings.
Uh-huh.
Unless he's calling in again.
Yeah, that could be a possibility.
But he's late on that too.
I'm sorry?
He's late too.
On that call, and
Yeah.
if he was calling in, they'd have a phone over there.
Oh.
Or they bring a cell phone over or something.
Yeah. I didn't bring my recorder this time, I thought I'll wait and,
So that clock is 3 minutes slow.
compared to the one, they
So
still got
it's
the one.
after 6.
That
right
one's
now,
gone.
isn't it?
Oh, the one that's up here is gone?
This is gone.
Oh, okay.
It's after 6, isn't it?
Huh?
Is it after 6?
Yeah, it's
Just about a
3
minute.
minutes, or 2.5 minutes after 6. You need 3 for the quorum, right?
Yep. Maybe since Mike's a movie star anymore, or a commercial star, you.
What's that?
So they would, have they done their, are they finished harvesting? Or do they even harvest?
You mean the grapes?
Todd and Mike?
Well,
I
Todd,
don't,
Mike's not a farmer, he has a winery,
Okay.
so they would grow grapes.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's a
Fox
Hill
Ridge,
Winery.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
But
could visit
he does
sometime.
not farm
I don't know.
around.
Todd might do some, but I don't know,
Yeah,
he
I do
works
not
for the
know.
city. City of Toledo. I think Toledo is in it, or
Oh,
Tama,
see, I do not know.
one of the two, I don't know.
Sorry, Dave.
That's fine. I think one of them was number 14. Used to be a-
No, but I said, Mike, if you see that Breckenridge monuments,
See number
he's
14?
one of, he's the client.
Oh, really?
13? Who's
Or
14?
do they have that on what, KWWL or what channel?
I don't know, 'cause we don't have, cable.
Okay,
all
so
we
it's
have
gotta
is
be
antenna.
2, 7, or 9.
Yeah,
No, I haven't seen that, we just don't watch, a lot of the regular.
yeah,
Came and
We
lost
do have
the
cable, and so that's
officer
preferable
to
for us.
the sheriff's department.
I can see why, some of the time, yeah.
Cause Carolyn will talk about some political ad, did you see that? And I go,
Within the
well,
last
I haven't
couple
seen that at all,
years.
she says, oh, I play it all the time, but,
Yeah.
because, you don't watch the same channels, then you're not seeing
Yeah,
it.
well, that's like Sunday, we were over at mom's and she cracks walnuts in the winter, so we had
The shape of life walnut tree.
Yeah. several.
Yeah.
And cows don't like walking on them. Last year, Tom and I just raked them all
Oh,
aside because
yeah.
we go up to,
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Bradley's North Trair, cause they mow.
Which Bradley?
Um,
Linus? Out on Ridge Road?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be Linus.
yeah, Linus and, and I know her, I used to
Trying
bowl
to
with
think of
her.
her first name.
Yeah,
Okay, but I know,
Marty.
okay, yes, so I know where you're at.
yeah, and we'd always go there because they didn't, we'd pick up the walnuts and take them.
Carolyn does that.
Oh, does she?
Yeah,
We had,
she sells a lot of black walnut meats.
we, my sister started cranking
They should have done these here, but.
Oh,
Marshall.
uh-huh.
and busted the handle off it. So
Oh,
that made it interesting.
never
We didn't
did
have
that.
so many this year, I said, I'm glad we don't have more than we
You'll
did.
get that prepared.
I think I'm gonna take it down to Sheena's Welding.
Okay.
I asked Tom's brother John about welding, and he said, oh, I could try, he said, I said, I can take it down there if you don't mind. I said, you might be better off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might get it
That's
fast.
fine. Well, that,
It
and
was-
then
it
maybe
was a
he's
weld.
not quite sure, but he said,
Kurt-
that knocks the
Kurt
old
got
weld
called
off.
for jury,
It's
well,
all
I don't
second
know.
weld.
That's
Oh,
selected,
I don't
he
know
was
how
called for
Carolyn
jury
does
duty,
it,
so
but she-
that typically takes all that.
She
up
puts
until
those,
11 o'clock.
the shells
I've
in
only
her,
ever had a call and they said, don't
wood
eat it.
burner,
It's all
but she
I've
said
ever
Oh,
once
yeah.
she put
No,
too
but
many in
there
her,
was a,
Yeah,
she
that
thought
call.
she was gonna have a chimney fire.
there was a.
So
Oh.
from now on, I mean, so they
There
really
was a
get
strut.
hot.
Uh-huh.
So she has,
But
had
I was one of
a
the.
plane full of that and only put in a few at a time.
Oh, everything was
sells-
done by
because I
20,
think you
20, or 8.
Donated some to the conservation, had
40,
ya?
50.
Black
8:40.
walnut meats, yeah, and Dennis loves them, so he
Yeah,
has
8:40.
gotten some that
Started,
you guys
started at
share all the
8:30,
time.
it was done at
He
8:40.
always gets some
Well,
from
the comment
Carolyn.
was like
And
49.
It was eight.
Tom had bought a
50?
Boltzmann
No.
mixer years ago,
It wasn't
when we started
Tom
helping
was
mom.
like-
There was
She used to just stir them in a pail, to,
Of anything.
after they run to the shower.
Yeah,
Everything was
So this
pretty
is,
much.
it's a lot handier, so I pump
Yeah,
up the
move on.
tire and push it out, but I
So
don't.
Ben,
My sister and I
yeah,
talked
Ben,
about it, so I texted
Ben
my
had
brother and I
short
said, well, I'm doing
list.
walnuts Sunday, so you know, I dress it accordingly.
so like
It
how
might
many,
have been
do you have
8:50.
bushy baskets of them?
Feed sacks, we
Oh,
just,
you put them in feed sacks.
I don't have my
and
book,
then
but my book.
Bridge and road
has
update,
Tom
pretty
had
much.
gotten a thing for
And
her
then,
too from,
HR
like a old
had,
grinder.
she had
You
a
have,
meeting that she.
it's like a big
reminded them of.
sieve thing, this
Oh,
little
yeah.
screen.
Okay.
So we set up a couple
Right.
chairs in the yard
They
and
approved
then,
the liquor license.
and then put the
Hi,
nets on
Karen.
that to dry, so that seems to work pretty
Seems
good.
like quite a process.
Those two forgot, they're calling in.
Oh, wow. So we're gonna have just 2 calling in and,
2 calling in and 2 here.
wow.
What about Kurt or Kelly?
Yeah, I didn't hear from him, he's tied up at work, so he couldn't even call.
Okay.
Maybe so we can hear better, we'll just have you two move up to this table, if that works,
Okay.
okay?
Sure.
Hey, Mike, I'll give you a number to call into the boardroom. 641. Mike's getting his paperwork together too, and then he'll call. All right. They apologize,
Board of Supervisors office, this is Karen, can I help you? Todd? Okay, hold on just a moment, Todd. Can you hear us, Todd?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Todd, we were talking about you earlier. Do you farm anymore at all?
No.
Okay.
I just rent everything out.
Okay. Okay.
Bob, do you by chance have extra copies of
Of what?
the proposed ordinance,
Auditor's office.
The memorandum?
the memorandum?
Oh,
No,
maybe.
no, just the rules.
Yep, you got one just a moment, Mike. Can you hear us, Mike?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there you go, there's a whole.
Apologize, I had it on my calendar. My alert didn't come up and I was short. I apologize. Are we ready to start?
We are.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. I need a motion to approve the agenda
I will make
for the
that,
meeting tonight.
I will make that motion, Mike. I'm Nancy, it's Nancy.
I need a second.
I'll second it, Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I hope everybody had a chance to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
We have,
Okay. I need a motion to approve or do I need a motion? Yes, I do. I need a motion to approve the previous minutes.
I'll make the motion. This is Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki. Second?
Nancy will second it, or Todd.
Let Nancy talk first, I'll put Nancy second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion on the adoption of the rules of procedure. Any
Okay,
comments, any questions, any concerns?
I guess I'll kick off discussion. This is Steve Leidinger. I'm the attorney with Lynch Dallas Law Firm that's been hired by the county to advise the board and work with Bob on some of these issues that you're facing currently. In conjunction with the appeal that's coming before the board on the 12th, I've been working with the appellant's attorney, getting ready for that and coordinating, and he asked for a copy of the board's rules. Then I asked for a copy of the board's rules, and there was lots of looking and searching for things, and ultimately, no rules were found. I can't say that at no point were there rules, but I can say that there are no rules that could be located, no references in minutes or anything that would lead us to believe that there are rules. So basically, because it's required that a Board of Adjustment have rules under the Iowa Code and some Supreme Court, Iowa Supreme Court precedent that I provided you, we needed to go ahead and get those in place and set a meeting that allowed for adoption in time to get those to the appellant and her attorney, so that they have a reasonable amount of time to review those, prepare, and be ready on the 12th. So I went ahead and drafted up a proposed set of rules that my goal with these was to not make them too cumbersome or too much of a deviation from what you all have done in the past. So just, very basic, things in terms of, the chairman's role, vice chairman's role, secretary, orders of business. One thing I did with these that a lot of rules that I sampled didn't do, was set up different proceedings for an appeal hearing and a public hearing on a variance or a conditional use permit or something like that, because they're two very different types of hearing. An appeal hearing is almost like a judicial proceeding where you have two sides, presenting opinions and the board basically ruling on those, as opposed to the conditional use permit type stuff where it's more of a public proceeding where you're taking public input, and you're hearing parties, but it's not as, I guess, judicial. It's not as much of a court type proceeding, it's more informal. So acknowledging that, I kind of did those things. And I indicated in the memo, ideally, this wouldn't have been such a rush. It would have been a thing where we could have a work session or something, or present a draft, take back comment, bring back the final copy. But without that luxury, I'm proposing this more or less as presented. And if there's kind of comments or reservations that I guess aren't immediate and wouldn't lead you to say, we can't operate under this even for one meeting, to just go ahead and adopt them, make notes, and we can come back where we don't have something pressing to kind of look at those issues. Just to kind of bring everyone up to speed, I like to, when I speak with a member of the board, I like to share the conversation with the others so everyone's working with the same information. But Nancy had some questions about the meeting limits, time limits, and things like that, and I communicated that we put in a 3-hour time limit for meetings. I think that should be sufficient under most circumstances, but there is a kind of an overflow check valve there where the board can approve to go over that time that time limit. And that I think I also communicated, there's no fixed time for either party to present. Rather, it's kind of part of the chairman's role of governing the proceedings to redirect conversation if it looks like one party's monopolizing, or to cut off irrelevant conversation that is just wasting time and dragging things out. And then I also spoke with Nikki about a provision under ex parte comments where it excluded from ex-party communications, communications between the board members and the county's attorneys, staff, or other personnel. Nikki had a concern there that, you know, if that was, I guess, too broadly written, and the intent there was not to preclude the board from interacting with, you know, Bob, myself, or someone else integral to the process. And I certainly think we could add some language there, and I would just, I guess, propose it now that when you vote on this, that you vote with this amendment, that when we talk about saying it's okay for communication between board members and county attorneys, staff, and other personnel, that we add there acting within the scopes of their employment, which basically limits it to relevant discussion on topic of, it would basically boil down to, you know, the attorney, Bob, and then anyone else who might come into play. Bob can designate folks to do certain isolated tasks, you know, send this email along for me. I can imagine other circumstances where, gosh, there might be a question for like a sanitarian or somebody else at the county, where you don't want to cut that off. So, other than that, are there any questions from those of you on the phone or Nancy and Nikki that you didn't get to ask earlier, that you would like to have answered before you kind of consider taking a vote on this?
No, everything that I had, questioned, you responded, and so I am good. It's just that whole time limit, not knowing if 3 hours is enough, if, I can understand the public comments of 3 minutes each, but
Right.
it's gonna be up to the chair to kind of just say, well, you've been at this an hour and a half, maybe that's.
And that's all, that's not much different from my experience with the court. Most time I'll go to have a scheduling conference. They say, how much time do you need? Say 3 hours. So they set that in for 3 hours. You get there. They don't say, all right, you're on the clock now. But the judge will say, okay, come on, move it along now. And we've got to leave time for the other party. So I don't see it being different here. And I can see in a situation like, an appeal hearing or something, it might be where one side requires more time than another, and as long as that all fits into the hearing, great. As opposed to artificially saying, you get a half hour, you get a half hour. If this person, if this party can make its point in 15 minutes and this party needs 45, great. It's just up to the chair to kind of keep a pulse on the proceedings and make sure that everybody gets their opportunity.
And I always encourage people in the public to send emails and talk in person with board members and contact them anytime. And board members do the same. Don't ever be afraid to talk to anybody when you're doing research on stuff. Talk to whoever you want. Get people's opinions and stuff.
Unless it's ex parte and you have something.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not legal to do so,
Sure.
you can do anything that's legal. Sum it up.
Yeah, so if there's no questions, you discuss amongst yourself, vote.
Nikki,
What?
would you be satisfied with his, you had some questions about, are you satisfied if we make that amendment?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Nancy, any issues that you've got that you already covered?
No, everything that I questioned, and I did read through it a couple times and highlighted some things, and that's when I sat down and just sent the email, and so I'm satisfied, Mike.
Okay. Todd, anything that concerns that you think we need to discuss more? No, Mike, I think it sounds good to me. Here.
He said no.
Okay. Are we ready to take a vote to adopt the rules of procedures?
I believe we are.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adopt the rules procedure.
Oh.
To adopt procedure.
Todd?
That Todd.
Motion by Todd,
Okay. I'm looking for a second.
I'll second it, Mike. Nancy?
Okay, thank you, Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I think does that cover everything on the issues that we have?
We just need to adjourn the meeting then.
Okay, there was one other thing on there, and okay, just checking. We need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting at whatever time it is, 6.
6:23.
Thank you.
6:23. Thank you, Nikki. Second?
I'll second. Nancy?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposition, we will adjourn the meeting. Our next meeting, I believe, is the 12th, Bob?
Correct, the 12th at 6 PM.
But isn't there another meeting for the, down at the engineer's office? But that's after.
That class, that's
That's
after, that's
18th.
the week after
Okay.
election, yeah. the
Yeah,
18th, yeah.
we've got the class, that is, I don't have.
18?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure who's all signed up for the.
Yeah,
class.
I'll send out reminders again. There was the email went out, but I'll be touching base with everyone again, so.
Okay, very good. So we'll see everybody at the workshop, otherwise at the next meeting, thank you all, and again, I apologize. My fault, I didn't catch the meeting on it, and I didn't get the reminder, thanks, Bob.
Thank you very much, you two, for calling in, appreciate it.
You bet, everybody go out for evening, thank you.
Thank
too,
you.
Mike.
Good night.
Bye now.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone.
So the 12th is now
Next
the,
meeting.
yeah, but you had sent, the notice that said it's been posted outside of the supervisor's room, but it hasn't yet been, right? Cause the 12th is not out here on the.
Yeah, the auditor's office sets them up at
Oh.
a certain times.
Oh,
Like 2 weeks ahead or something?
What their timing is, I can't remember what she said. Yeah, it has to say that when they put it out there and stuff, but that's the notice that you guys got.